Welcome, Middlers, to the Medium in the Middle podcast. My name is Stephanie, and I take you on a journey of self-discovery and spiritual exploration. I am a Reiki master teacher, a spiritual and business mentor, and of course, a psychic medium. And I am here to share my story and help you tap into your extraordinary abilities. Join me every Wednesday as we dive into the realms of intuition, energy healing, and all things mystical. Whether you're a seasoned spiritual seeker or just dipping your toes into the magical waters, this podcast is your go-to source for inspiration, guidance, and a whole lot of lessons and laughter along the way. Let's get started. Hello, Middlers. Welcome to episode 236. My name is Stephanie. I am the medium in the middle. If you are new, welcome. I tell my whole mediumship journey story from episode 1. So if you want to go back and listen to the first 10 episodes, usually people feel really seen and understood when they hear my story and compare it to your development journey. Or you can jump right in where I share where I'm at 7 years later. And today we are talking about how to do card pulls for yourself. I've been getting a lot of questions about this. I've been doing more card readings. I've been doing some flash sales. I just did 2 flash sales. Can't wait to tell you what this is all about, but my birthday's next week, so I launched 2 flash sale card readings, and I've been doing more card readings this year. I added them to Reiki sessions, and every week when I pull the card for the podcast, I've been doing it on Instagram as well, where I teach you how to pull your own cards, but I haven't brought it to the podcast. So this episode is going to be all about how you can pull your own cards at home, how you can learn to work with your cards a lot better. I've saved a few questions that I've been receiving about how to pull cards. So we're going to talk all things cards today and hopefully get you practicing. I would say it did take me a few years to get comfortable with my cards. That's also why I don't buy new decks. I like the decks that I have. I've learned them. I've practiced with them a lot. They have my energy all over them. I know how to work with them. And I don't want to learn and connect with and do all that with a new deck. So that's why you guys will always see me using those same 3 decks on Instagram. I've had them for years. I haven't bought a new deck. I don't even remember the last time I bought a new deck. I did try to get into tarot for a while, but I personally like oracle cards. So what we're talking about today, though, can be used for tarot or oracle. And I'll talk about how I like to use them each as well. So there is no card pull today because we're going to be talking all about cards, and I want to teach you how to do it. And then maybe after this episode, and you listen to all these tips and tricks, you can go and pull some cards for yourself. But I do have some announcements. Let's quickly run through Reiki trainings. So the next Reiki level 1 is October 19th and 20th. I think there's about 3 spots left in that course. And the next Reiki level 2 is November 9th and 10th. So that will be coming up. And the most exciting thing coming up in October, besides my birthday, is my business mastermind that is happening on October 26th. I talked about this a lot last week, but if you are a small business owner or a side hustler and you want to grow your business in 2025, you need this 3-hour masterclass. I love teaching on business, and this masterclass is my baby. I wish I could just give it to every business owner who is starting out and be like, do this now, start with good habits. So it's a 3-hour masterclass. It's only $222 Canadian. That's like less than $170 US. It is almost the same price as a 1-hour mentorship call with me. It is jam-packed with information. I have been growing my business year over year for the last 5 years, and I'm obsessed with growth. I love numbers and money and year over year, month over month, quarter over quarter, end of year, seeing what worked, seeing what didn't, and I share all my tips and tricks with you. Join me on the 26th. I'll leave all the links you need down below. And the next Mediumship Practice Circle is on October 19th. I've been doing a monthly Mediumship Practice Circle, so October's is coming up on the 19th. I know I say this every time, but no experience necessary. I'm serious. No experience is necessary. Last circle, we had 6 people who were all doing their first practice reading ever, and we clapped for them and we celebrated them, and it was so nice to hear their experiences. So all the links you need will be down below in the show notes. So I want to start off this week's episode about cards and how to pull your own cards with the difference between Oracle and Tarot. So in my personal opinion, I find Tarot is like the Big Daddy Tarot. I used to only pull my tarot cards like once or twice a year, and I usually find tarot more harsh, I would say. Some people also call it tarot, so I don't know how to say it properly, tarot or tarot. But I personally only like to use that if it's like we're doing like a 6-month reading or a year reading, or it's like the beginning of the year or my birthday or something like that, where I feel Oracle is more like a daily card pull. Like it's kind of more fun. It's a little more lighthearted. And I personally use Oracle cards for my readings. You can use whatever resonates, but that's kind of how I view the two, Oracle versus Tarot/Tarot. So today I'm going to be talking about Oracle cards and how I use them. And I will say something that might be controversial. I do not think you should be pulling cards every day. I don't even think you should be pulling cards every week for yourself. I said what I said. And this is because you should not be needing that much guidance. Your intuition is very strong. And all of these tools, cards, pendulums, are nice to reinforce your intuition. But if you're double checking on your intuition every single day, I would ask you why. And then if you want to build trust with your intuition, double checking with your cards every single day is not building trust. I've had a few mentees that I've had to advise to stop pulling cards every day. It is not helping them. I've even had a few Akashic record readings tell people to stop looking for guidance outside of themselves so much. And when we talked about it after, they were like, yeah, I pull cards like once or twice a day. And I was like, oh, you shouldn't need that. So I would give a little warning about be careful about how much you're leaning into the cards and what you're asking them. I cannot stress this enough. Free will and choice always trumps anything that the cards can say. I once was doing one of my card reading flash sales, and I always request a question, so you can ask for a question or general guidance, or if you want guidance on your career, relationships. And the only question that I've ever once said no to was someone asked if and when they were going to get pregnant. And I just did not feel comfortable asking the cards that. And I said that, and I was like, hey, I don't feel comfortable asking the cards something like that, but I do want to know, like, what's for your highest good? What do you need to know right now about the situation that you're in? So while specific questions are good, you also want to know that free will and highest good always trump. So I would say about half of people, when they get a card reading, they just ask for general guidance. I personally love to pull on general guidance because even if you have a question in your mind, I feel like general guidance always gives you what you need to know right now for your highest good, what's actually going to be helpful. Because if something is a choice, the cards can't tell you. So if you say, like, should I be quitting my job or not? You have to decide. If you say, like, what do I need to know right now? And say you were thinking about quitting your job, maybe you'd get like the warrior card. Remember your strength. Think about what you want. Think about what you're calling in. Think about your life. Like those things would be more helpful than just a card saying, yes, you should quit your job, or no, you should quit your job. You can never give away your power in these situations. So let's start off by questions. Someone asked, What question do you ask when you're pulling cards for yourself? How do you frame them, word them, and make them specific? So let's say, for example, I wanted to know something about my career and I was looking for guidance or help and I was feeling a little bit confused. I would ask the cards for helpful information about my career. What do I need to know right now? What's something that maybe I need to be reminded of? Is there information that could help me if with where I'm at? So I still want to use the theme of career, but you can ask for kind of specific information that will help you right now in the situation that you're in. So as I'm shuffling the card, I might not ask one specific question, but I would be thinking about my career, thinking about the clarity that I want, thinking about some guidance that could help me, thinking about highest good in my career, and I'd be putting that energy into the cards as I shuffle them. So we're not going to go into all the different ways you can pull cards. If you want to do a 3-card pull, 1-card pull, if you want to do card layouts, but I will talk about different things you can do no matter what different card pull you decide to do. So other questions that I've received about cards are around what do you get from the images on the cards? So I always like to look at what the card actually looks like. So, for example, is it a card where the person is opening their arms and creating something in their hands? Is it where the person has their arms up and they're receiving? Does it look like they're looking into the past or looking into the future? Does it look like they're looking at their life? Does it look like they're walking down a path? Does it look like the path is being created in front of them? The card's images is why you choose your deck. And then you use the images on the deck in order to expand into your reading. So I always like to pull the cards, read from the book, use my intuition, then look at the card imagery to see if I have anything else that maybe I missed or that makes sense. I'd be like, oh yeah, like even look at this card. She's looking away in the way that whatever. Might loop into what I was getting from the cards. So the way that I like to read is I always like to read from the book because sometimes the book says the exact words that you need to hear. But then I always like to pull 3 cards. So as I pull and look at the 3 cards, I read all 3, I look at them, and then I decide how they go together. So I do use my intuition a lot. And I know that I usually pull past, present, future cards, or all 3 cards are the message, or 2 cards are the message and 1 is the theme, or 1 is the overarching theme and 1 is past and 1 is future. Like I just know the different ways that they fall. So as soon as I read them, it gives me a good understanding of, oh, this is this and this is this and this goes like this. And then looking at the imagery here, I would say this, this, this. So if I was pulling these for myself, I would interpret this as da 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 and da 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 da. I'm going to see if I'm sure someone will as I'm saying this out loud, but maybe I'll do like a free card reading for someone as if I was doing a full card reading as I sell them, and then post it as an episode and as a video just so that you can actually see how I do it. But I do really think you have to find your own groove. I did find it took me a long time to be comfortable with the cards. I practiced for a very long time, and then I started adding them to my Reiki. So I started offering Reiki plus a card pull. So you would receive 60 minutes of Reiki, and then we'd pull some cards after where you could ask some questions. And then I got a lot of good feedback on the Reiki and card pull sessions. So then I just started offering the card pull sessions on their own. But I still only do 10 to 15 minute readings. I'm not someone that does like a big 45-minute reading with the cards. But I do find them very, very helpful for me to get in the zone. I can literally feel the moment that like it clicks and the channeling just starts and the words are just flowing and I don't even know what I'm saying. So I really like that about the cards is they just like get me in the zone. And then as soon as I read the cards, if you've ever had a card reading with me, I always say this. Interesting. I wonder how that's going to pull. Oh, I see what they're trying to say. Okay, I get it now. And then I just ramble about it. But it's always those like forced things that I say. I'm always like, interesting. Oh, and then as soon as it clicks, I just find that I start to channel. So I do use my intuition to analyze how the cards go together and why they pulled that way. This question asks, do you use your intuition to analyze the meaning before reading the description? And if so, if that intuition is telling you something different than the description, how do you know what to take? So I like to read the cards first, and then I like to intuitively decide how they mix together. And I find that as I'm reading the card descriptions, things either fit or don't fit. So say I'm reading something and it's talking about like maybe you're birthing a new relationship or a new career or a new friendship or I'm like, no, yes. Kind of as I'm reading the cards, I'm pulling from it what I know intuitively resonates. And then I put those pieces that resonate together to make the story that's unique to you. I feel like I just need to give an example. Let me get a card deck out. Okay, step 1. I look at the decks that I have and I decide what deck I want to use. How do I decide what deck I want to use? Say I'm thinking about career. I look at each deck and I say career, career, career. And whatever one is like, yes, then that's the one I pull. So I'm using the Colette Baron read just because it was sitting on top. So then we're pretending that I shuffled and then we're pretending that I pulled the card. I'm just going to use the card that's on top and it's card 50, Compass. So if I'm reading for someone else, I always like to give the number because it might have a significance to them. If I don't feel like the number has a significance to them, then I won't say it. But sometimes I'll say, I feel like these numbers might be important. I pulled card 47, 50, and 52. Really interesting that it pulled however it pulled. It's really hard without giving an exact example. Okay, so card 50, Compass. This is exactly what I would do. As long as you orient your compass to true north, the direction of your higher power, you will never be lost. You're entering uncharted territories right now and can expect wonderful new experiences. To stay on the highest path of your destiny, you'll need to keep your compass pointed to true north. Only spirit or a higher power can serve this function. Money, prosperity, prestige, romance, and other material achievements can't help you find your true path. They are simply the things you may experience along the journey. Know that spirit is working in your life, so even if you feel lost temporarily, it will be easy to find your way. Have faith and trust, for your compass with spirit as a true north will ensure that you're never lost, even on a starless night when all seems dark. Okay, so as I was reading this, my eyes instantly went to money, prosperity, prestige, and romance. So because that kind of felt like highlighted or bolded in my mind, I would say, I feel like this is a reminder that you need to stay focused and you need to not let money, prosperity, prestige, romance, people, relationships, anything else distract you right now. Because if you don't know what your true north is, all of these things are just going to try to take your attention and your vision away from it. So Spirit is here to remind you that you need to figure out where your compass is pointing. You need to remember where you're going. You need to choose something for you and not be distracted right now. So the thing to remember is that even sometimes we know where we're going, there's a lot of distractions around you right now that are trying to pull your awareness away from that. And if you want to stay focused, keep that compass pointing to where you're going. Don't get distracted right now. That's what I would say. So as I was reading that, I was kind of like, yeah, you're entering uncharted territories right now. Doesn't really feel like it fits. You can expect wonderful new experiences. Yeah, that's kind of like all cards say that. Stay on the highest path of your destiny. You'll need to keep your compass pointed to true north. Yeah, that's the compass card. Only spirit or a higher power can serve this function. Yep, that's the compass card. But then it said, money, prosperity, prestige, romance, and other material achievements can't help you find your true path. And instantly my intuition went, distractions. Distractions are pulling you away from your true path right now. Distractions are distracting you. Distractions are giving you problems right now. So if I was pulling this card for someone, and then it'd be interesting to see what the other two cards were, I would probably be talking about distractions. Now, sometimes some of these cards read reversed or there's an extended message, and then I like to just browse at the opposite to see if there's anything helpful. So as I was reading this, I didn't get called to read the reverse, but say I wanted to keep reading, then I would say, okay, I also want to read the reverse today. Anyways, and then I would read the reversed and see if it made more sense. But I find I only want to read either the extended message or the reversed very rarely, like say 1 in 10 times. Usually I just like to read the description and look at the cards. I like to just pull them as they fall, and I always read upright. Okay, so I read the description. I gave my intuitive hit on the compass card, and then I look at the compass and I would see if there is anything else on this card that kind of pulls my attention. So right away, I see kind of like some sparkles come out of the compass, and my intuition thought of the word creating. So to me, this would mean like creating your own path, creating your future, creating where you're going, choosing where you're going. But again, there's like something getting in the way. So maybe this is the card pull for the podcast, that don't get distracted. Don't let little road bumps slow you down here. You can drive around the road bumps, and you need to remember where you're going and stay true to your path. I love the compass card when it comes up because it's always a good reminder. Same thing with like the warrior card. That's always a good card. It can have different meanings depending on what other cards it's pulled with. Like, I was doing a reading last time, and it was for a mother and daughter, and they both got the same card. Oh, I wonder if I can remember. Was it Stuck in the Mud? It was a sadder card. Anyways, they both got the same card, and I didn't do their readings back to back. They were, I think, 4 people in between them, but I remember saying, oh, your daughter also got this card. And it had 2 completely different meanings because it was 2 different readings, and the cards that it was with was also completely different. So how the card meant in those 2 different readings was different, even though it was the same card. It had like a similar meaning, but it wasn't the same. I feel like I'm trying to give too many analogies in this, and it might be confusing. I'm sorry if this episode has been confusing. Hopefully you've been able to follow along, and hopefully that's helpful. I know a lot of this is like, trust your intuition, but with cards, I find it's more practice, and then you learn how to add your intuition to it. You really need to get to know each card by reading the book over and over and over again. I'm not good at memorizing things, and I just like to do things by the book, so I like to read the book. And then I'll say like the cards just said right there, like that's, I know the sentence I was looking for. So if you are practicing, I would recommend just like read for your friends, your family, pull a few cards, read it to them, see if it resonates. And then as you keep practicing, try to add more of your own intuitive spin to it. Try to add more, I don't want to call it fluff, but it's like you're telling the story. You're bringing the 3 together. You're trying to see what's going on. So once I was doing a card reading for someone, and they said like spirit would be sending them signs. Then it listed all these signs, and one of the signs was a bird. And my eyes locked on the word bird. And I was like, no, this person is literally getting birds as a sign. And I said that. I was like, so this list includes birds, but you are literally getting birds as a sign, and they've been coming everywhere, and you're not paying attention to them. And the person wrote me back, and she was like, it's crazy, for the last however many days I've been seeing birds everywhere, and you're right, I didn't realize it was a sign. Today when I was doing a card reading, my hair kept getting in the way of the cards, and I was like, oh weird, my hair keeps getting stuck, something is in your way. So it's like the things like that, the little things where I'm like, oh, my hair's getting stuck in the cards. It was like something was getting in my way. I was like, something's getting in your way. And I was like, I also don't know if you're a hairdresser, but like something's getting in my way because my hair's getting in my way. So you really want to pay attention to like, where's your eyes drawn? What sentence really like resonated with you? And then you build on your intuition like that. But I highly recommend you work with the same deck because you're using and understanding and putting your energy into the deck. So the longer and longer you use the deck, the more you'll know it like the back of your hand, and then it's easier and easier to read. So I am going to, maybe I'll put it up on Instagram as like you can win a free reading if I can record it for you. So go follow me on Instagram at Medium in the Middle. I only have one account, and hopefully you win the card reading. And then I will do an episode where I post the card reading so you guys can hear exactly what it's like. I think that's a really good idea. And also I feel like card readings are okay to post. I've been really wanting to post an Akashic record reading. I've been doing Akashic record readings again. They're on my schedule permanently on Fridays only, so that's why they're kind of hard to get. But the readings have been so good. I'm like obsessed with Akashic records again. They're just so hard to share because they are so personal. I can share the analogies and I don't mind doing things like that, taking bits and pieces from readings and telling you guys about them. But to fully do a recording for someone and then share it, that just doesn't seem right. Like you would really have to tailor your questions to be like, a lot of people are listening to this. The Akashic records are very personal, where I feel like a card reading could easily be shared if you just ask for a general guidance reading. So that podcast episode is to come. It's my birthday next week. Happy Libra season to my fellow Libras. I'm turning old this year, and it's the first time in a long time I don't have a big blowout planned for my birthday. I'm working all day. It's a Tuesday. I'm not doing much. So that's what I have for you this week. I hope that wasn't too confusing and it kind of helped you answer some questions about how you can get better at pulling your own cards. I release new episodes every Wednesday. Make sure you subscribe to the podcast. If you haven't already, please leave me a rating and a review. It would be a beautiful birthday present. But until next Wednesday, Middlers, when I see you in your ears, I hope you have a wonderful week. Bye.